Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have a new product for you from Kat Von D Beauty. It is the Duo Blush Eyeshadow in the color Lolita. And it's really interesting because I don't think she's ever put out a product before that was a duo in that sense. So in the past she's put out products that I think we'll bring them home and we'll use them in multiple ways, but I don't remember her ever putting out a product where they were selling it as being able to do two things. So that's a little different, and also the fact that it's only in one color, which I think is a little bit unusual as well. In the past, when she's put out blushes, there have been at least, let's say, about 5 colors, usually not more than that, and I can show you a couple of those now in case you're interested. These were the original blush palettes or not palettes, these were the original blushes that I remember getting from her, and they had quite a large pan, and they were very pigmented, and I was a huge fan of them. But to be honest, I was a little scared of them because I like my blush very, very light. And I know that I don't have a very good camera, so I apologize for that. But I am actually wearing the new Lolita blush right now. And the thing that I love most about it, aside from the color, is the fact that it's very buildable. And I found that the oldest blushes were super pigmented, so this particular color I almost never wore because it was just so heavy that I felt I went heavy-handed every time, even though I didn't. That's a good thing for most people, but again, for me, I'm just one of those people that I like to keep it so subtle. I don't want you to even know that I'm wearing blush. I just wanted to have that little bit of effect in person, which I absolutely think it does. When I look in the mirror, I'm very happy with what I see. Just as a side note, this is the other blush that she had for a very short time. I got it at IMATS LA a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and they're sort of the duos where they had sort of a lighter color and a darker color, and you could kind of blush and almost contour at least your blush area with it. And I was a fan of those as well, and I don't know why they didn't last. I don't know if it was always meant to be a limited item or if for some reason they were unhappy with what they put out, but I was a great fan of them. I bought 2 colors at IMATS, and this one that I showed you is one that I liked, but the one that I loved, I actually lost, which I was really heartbroken about because it was they were sort of like perfect nude-like colors, which is what I absolutely love and go for. Which is why I was happy that when they finally did put out another blush, that it was their color Lolita, which I don't remember them ever having a Lolita blush before. For those of you who aren't familiar with Kat Von D Beauty, let me show you some Lolita swatches. I'm a huge fan of this brand, and Lolita is that color that is said to look good on everybody. And I said this in a previous video, and I'll say it again. I can't stand when people say like one size fits all or looks good on everybody, because I find that that is almost never true. I will say that in the case of Lolita, I've been using Kat Von D Beauty since the brand came out. I bought the Cathedral lipstick when the brand was brand new and a couple of other items which I still to this day either have in the case of brushes or used in the case of the Cathedral lipstick. But I resisted Lolita because just hearing people say that it's like this universal color, it would almost like irritated me, to be honest. And I just fought it and fought it and fought it. And then finally, I actually got the Lolita in like a goodie bag at like an event that I went to. And so I figured, well, I have it. I'm gonna use it. And lo and behold, it actually is a universal color. I think it's one of the best colors on my skin tone, and I think it's a color that truly looks good on every skin tone. I can't really think of anybody that it wouldn't look good on, but you know, it's up to you to try it to see if you feel the same way. So at any rate, I became a convert, and even though Cathedral had been my color since the beginning, and I think Kat Von D Beauty's been around for about 8 years, I pretty much wear either Lolita or Bow and Arrow, which is like a more nudie, less rosy version of this blush eyeshadow duo. So the colors are right here. I unfortunately don't have the lipstick right now because I was gonna buy the lipstick, but I feel like I didn't need to because this lip liner came out, and I actually have a video on this. You could click on the little gray bar above or in the link below to see the video. I'm a huge fan of this. This is probably my favorite makeup product to come out all year, and it is really creamy and the color's beautiful. And the reason I didn't end up buying the lipstick is because I could just use the lip liner with a little chapstick. Not that you even need the chapstick, but I always wear it. And I get pretty much that lipstick feel of a matte lipstick, which is one of my favorite things. Then I have the Lolita in the liquid lip. And by the way, both of these products look like this, if you're not familiar. This is the Lolita lip liner, and this is the Lolita liquid lip. So liner lip. And this, it looks a little messy because I've been filming for a minute, but this is the eyeshadow blush. And as you can see, even though it's really, really subtle on me because A, I did it on purpose, and B, the camera obviously isn't picking it up very well. But this was like, I did like 2 swipes to see how easy or how difficult it would be to build a heavier color if you want to go that route. And as you can see, there's plenty of pigment in this eyeshadow blush duo. And in case I hadn't mentioned it already, I also put a very little bit on my eyelid, and I really like the way it looks in person. Again, I apologize that you can't see it here, but I was really pleased with the way it blended out on both my eyelids and my cheeks. Now, I used the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, the one that comes in the bottle right now, and that was actually my first time using that foundation. I'm really fond of the Estee Lauder Double Wear that came in the compact, and I sort of wish I had used that as instead, because I've worked with other blushes before with that, so I could compare and contrast. But what I really wish I had done, and what I'm going to do the next time we wear this, is to use it with the Kat Von D powder. This is my favorite foundation of all time, and what I like about using a powder foundation is that since your entire face is covered with a powder as a foundation, it makes anything that you put on top of it easier to blend. So I think the ideal situation for me, for any sort of bronzers, blushes, highlighters, is a powder foundation, because I use powder blushes, powder bronzers, and so on and so forth. That being said, I used this Kat Von D blush and eyeshadow duo over a liquid foundation, and I put very little powder. I used the Kat Von D powder, and it blended very nicely. And I wasn't surprised, to be honest. This isn't like a huge shock. I am obviously a huge fan of her makeup brand. I kind of own everything, and I don't remember any disappointing products. I really can't think of any off the top of my head. So I wasn't expecting to dislike this at all, but you never know. Sometimes things come out and they're not what they should be. This is definitely on par. It's easily blendable like all of her other stuff. So even though it's a powder, it's got that, like you could call it a like a cream, quote unquote creamy feel. It's not a cream, but it has that feel where it feels very nice when you touch it, and it blends beautifully even on the liquid powder with liquid foundation with very little powder. I usually do much more powder on a liquid foundation, and it blended even more nicely on my eyelids. And that to me is probably the truer test, because I have very creepy eyes, and I find that if a eyeshadow is cheap or poor quality in any way, that's where I'm gonna know the minute I put it on my eyes, because things do drag or skip or what have you, and this wasn't the case with this eyeshadow blush duo. Originally, I thought I had a con, and it wasn't even a real con. It was like sort of a con maybe for some people, but not for me. So the blush eyeshadow duo is $19. Now, it's a higher end product. It's not drugstore. So $19 for an eyeshadow is very common, and that is definitely not a drawback by any means. But if you're looking at this, or if you're purchasing it more as a blush than an eyeshadow, and for me, I'm more likely to use it as a blush than an eyeshadow. I have plenty of different colors in eyeshadow, including Kat Von D and a lot of other brands. So I didn't really need another eyeshadow, and I tend to favor gray or more neutral, like true foundation colors over pinks for my eyes. I'm looking at this more as a blush. If you're looking at it as a blush, it might feel a little bit on the small side, because like the older Kat Von D Beauty had just like a much larger pan, and then the really old one feels like it was bigger. You never know, it might even be the same quantity. Let me take a quick peek. So this was 0.25 ounces, and the new one is 0.11 ounce. So definitely the original blushes, which I'll show you again, was like approximately 3 times more in quantity. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, you might feel a little bummed out. But again, you're paying the eyeshadow price for the blush and not the blush price. It's been a while since I bought a blush from Kat Von D Beauty, but I feel like they were more in the $35 range. So, it's not like you're not being ripped off, but the con is that the quantity does feel quite a bit less than in previous blushes. And let's just take a quick peek at this. This was 0.317. So again, 3 times more than what you're getting now. So that's the only con I could think of. However, to be fair, some of the blushes in my collection come from Tarte, and this is part of a holiday collection, and there were 4 of these in a brush, so they might be smaller than what Tarte usually sells, but these were 0.05 ounces. Is that even right? Yes, well, it says 0.05 ounces, and this is 0.11. So this is double what this Tarte pan is. This is it looks smaller, but it's actually runs a little bit deeper than this. So when I saw that, I didn't feel again, not that I was feeling robbed, but for those of you out there who feel like you want to get more blush, like clearly there's other brands out there that are selling smaller pans of blush. And I'm going to check one more just because now I'm curious. This is the NARS blush, and this is 0.16 ounces. So it's definitely more than this, but this is being sold as a blush and priced as a blush, and this is being sold as a blush eyeshadow and priced as an eyeshadow. So I guess my one con that I could come up with is actually ended up being a pro, because you're getting blush for the price of an eyeshadow, which tends to run cheaper. So anyways, that was my con. The only other con really is that it's a limited edition item, so I don't know how long it's going to be out. They're probably going to sell out. I feel like Kat Von D Beauty sells out of stuff all the time. They used to sell out of stuff all the time, and it used to be hard to get your hands on like your own foundation or whatever. I haven't found that to be a problem as of late, but with the limited edition stuff, you definitely have to get there as soon as you can. So I found you a con after all. But overall, pros, it's a beautiful color. They chose the right color. If they're going to do one and only ever do one, then this is the color to do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful on your eyes. It's beautiful on your cheeks. It's beautiful on your lips. It's definitely a universal color. I don't say that lightly. I'm like most of you out there who hates the one-size-fits-all mentality, but it's definitely true. I've seen this on a lot of different people, and it works, and it's the highest selling. At some point, it was the highest selling lip product at Sephora for a reason in this particular shade. So at any rate, that's a whole lot of talking about one little item. So again, it's $19. It's going to be available June 15th at Sephora and Sephora.com. I believe it should also be available at KatVonDBeauty.com. I'm not really sure how that works, because I know sometimes Kat Von D Beauty has a few items, like things that they bring back from the past, available on their website that won't be at Sephora.com. But as far as I know, in the States, Sephora and KatVonDBeauty.com are the only places that you could find Kat Von D Beauty products. And as far as the rest of the world, I apologize. I don't know if and when you're going to get it, but I do know that it's coming out June 15th, and that, in my opinion, if you're interested in this, I would definitely make sure you get your hands on it sooner rather than later, because it's being sold as a limited edition item, and in the past, Kat Von D items have sold out rather quickly, and they don't always come back. So at any rate, that was my first impression / review of the Kat Von D Lolita Blush Eyeshadow. I'm definitely going to be using this regularly, and I think it's fair to say that this, along with Orgasm from NARS, they're going to be the 2 blushes that battle it out for my everyday blush. I'm also, just as an added bonus, I think since I use the Lolita lip liner and the Lolita liquid lipstick, I think that instead of, if and when I powder my lips, instead of using like translucent powder, I'm just going to go ahead and use this. I love matte lips, and mattifying it with the sister color I think is phenomenal. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So at any rate, I would love to hear your thoughts on the Lolita blush. Is this something that you're interested in getting? Are you going to use it as a blush? Are you going to use it as an eyeshadow? Are you going to use it as both? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more videos coming out. I had mentioned in a previous video that I'm trying to settle in on a schedule. If you have thoughts on when you'd like to see beauty videos versus food and life videos, please comment below. I'm thinking like maybe Friday, Saturday type of situation, but I haven't figured it out yet. In the meantime, I'm kind of just posting every Saturday, and then in addition, I'm posting whenever I have something really fun to share with you, like when things come out. I want to get them to you sooner rather than later. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that. I am glad that we get to spend time together. I look forward to spending more time with you in the future. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Take care.